Good morning. This is Robert Kaars Sijpesteijn bringing you this morning's market update. Yesterday saw US markets jump upwards, with Apple stepping up to the plate, along with rises in energy stocks, which were backed by stronger oil prices. Apple gained back $2.57 to close on $93.95 after hitting its lowest point since June 2014 last week. This impacted all indices, with the US 500 adding 20 points to close on 2064.88. The US Tech 100 gained 55 points to close on 4,374.88, and the Wall Street soared 182 points to close on 17,698. In commodities, gold had a fairly volatile day, unable to keep hold of early morning gains, closing up by $1 on $1,275.30. Brent crude, on the other hand, maintained steady gains throughout yesterday, creeping closer towards the $50 mark, adding $1.16 to close on $49.12 a barrel. Militant threats to production in Nigeria, a key OPEC producer, are the latest fillip for an oil price that has also benefited from a booming gasoline market and rising demand in India. Anxiety over supply has also been fanned after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on Friday announced plans to extend his government's emergency powers, a reminder to investors of the deepening political instability in another oil producer. Supply disruptions around the world are likely to average more than 3 million barrels a day this month, with Nigerian output at its lowest level in decades. On Monday, its oil minister said output had fallen by 800,000 barrels a day to 1.4 million barrels per day. The spectre of diminished supply and strengthening demand was enough to prompt analysts at Goldman Sachs, arguably the most influential bank in commodity markets, to lift their forecast for light crude. It now thinks the US benchmark will average $45 per barrel during the second quarter, up from an earlier estimate of $35 in March. In Europe, indices also rallied, with the Germany 30 adding 82 points to close on 9,955.5, and the UK 100 gained 74 points to close on 6,197.3. Dutch companies are announcing a slew of initial public offerings this month after a sluggish start to the year, and a push to list before the UK's Brexit vote led to a full pipeline of firms waiting to go public. The pent-up demand means the country is set to have its busiest second quarter for IPO announcements in 17 years. 3 companies have already announced their plans. Royal Philips said it would list shares of its lighting unit in a statement on May 3rd, with initial trading scheduled for May 27th. Nationalised insurer ASR Nederland, with a book value of €3.2 billion, declared its intention to float on Friday. And SIF Holding began trading in Amsterdam on Thursday. In today's corporate news, Vodafone's reported group revenue was down 3% in the year to 31st of March to £41 billion. Its earnings before interest, taxation, depreciation and amortization were reported at £11.6 billion, down 2.5% on reported basis, or up 2.7% on an organic basis. Land Securities has reported a pre-tax profit of £1.3 billion in a year to 31st of March, down from £2.4 billion last year. The company said its revenue profit was up 10% to £362.1 million. Pub owner Enterprise Inns reported a pre-tax profit of £57 million in the 6 months of 31st of March, flat year on year. Its reported EBITDA were down from £144 million to £142 million. And FTSE 100 listed DCC grew revenue by 3.5% year on year to £3.1 billion in the 12 months of 31st of March. In today's economic data in focus, at 9:30 UK Retail Price Index for April is released. At 10 a.m. the European Trade Balance is released by Eurostat. At 1:30 US Consumer Price Index is released. And at 5 p.m. there'll be a speech from Dennis Lockhart of the US Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. That's all for this morning's market update. Thank you and goodbye.